Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to Plague Inc. Evolved with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome to yet another SCP, SCP-632, a bad headache. SCP-632 is a Euclid-classed SCP, which is a spider species that releases their millions of microscopic eggs attached to thin web strands carried away by the wind. So nothing too bad so far, little bit creepy-crawly, nothing too bad. The larvae enter through the human skin pores and travel to the brain, causing headaches. They release endorphins when pressure is applied, making people hit their heads until the spiders can exit. So essentially, this is an adorable little spider that goes into the brain of the human host and causes intense headaches, getting worse and worse as the poor little spiders grow. The poor little spiders, the poor human, has the spiders grow in their head. Really should sympathise here more with the humans than the spiders, but I do love spiders, so, you know, I'm a bit biased, and humans, they can be a bit weird. Anyway, with the humans, when they hit their head, it releases endorphins, causing the pain to briefly subside. But more pain needs more endorphins. You can see the problem here, eventually cracking their head open so that the lovely little spiders can break free and live their lives outside of the human host. I mean, look how cute they are. So, with that very weird intro out of the way, making me seem a bit more psychopathic than usual, let's get straight into this, and let's see how this goes. Also, apparently it features 4 random intros. I do love SCPs, and this is definitely one of the ones which will make you itch afterwards. We are, of course, a parasite. Let's just move away from transstasis, since I don't know how good the transmissions are going to be, so sure. There we are, aquasite, genetic mimic, metabolic jump, all the usual safe options here. Continue, normal, we are SCP-632. And so we begin. SCP-632 is a parasitic spider that makes people bang their heads until they can get out. Extremely resistant to heat, they have a big advantage in hot countries, but struggle in cooler ones. And apparently we are starting in China, which for some reason I never pick as a starting location. It's a good starting location, but I always go for the same other ones instead. So today we're forced to do something different. Oh hello, wild population intro. So this is one of the random intros. The Foundation thinks they have captured all instances of SCP-632, but they are wrong. There are still wild populations that have not yet been contained. Let them spread. Bonus DNA in the first few months. Lovely. I wonder if they're all positive or if some of the intros are actually negative. Anyway, let's have a look-see at our new abilities. So, with transmission, we have web strands. The microscopic eggs are attached to feathery threads, which are virtually weightless. Air currents help with spreading the eggs. We have symptoms. The headache, of course. The larvae feed from the brain tissue, which causes pain and reduces the ability to work. In abilities, we have Euphoria 1, which releases endorphins in the brain, which cause distraction and makes research slower. And then we have Shell. Eggshell thickens, more resistant in wealthy countries. So I assume this will also have the drug resistance. Well, this is the drug resistance, but then also the cold and heat resistance. Although saying that, we don't need that apparently. So I assume we're just going to get cold resistance. But for now, let's grab web strands. Tiny bit of infectivity, only 1 DNA, how can you say no? Also just realised we are already lethal, which makes sense considering we can only spread once the host, well, breaks his melon. Corpse Feeder 1. More spiders exit the dead host in search of more victims. Ooh, corpse transmission, fantastic! And then we have skin pores. The tiny larvae that hatch can enter the skin pores of humans, increasing land transmission and mutation. Now that's great, but we're not very lethal right now, so that's not going to be too powerful. This, however, will be extra mutation chance and a decent chunk of infectivity. That's what we're going with first. A few moments later, and we now have skin pores. So, Insect 1. Insects can carry around eggs since they are cooler, especially in hot and humid countries, which increases mutation. Animals 1. Eggs can attach themselves to other animals, especially in urban and rural regions. This increases mutation. Air level 1. Web threads can travel long distances via the wind. Water 1. Eggs are better isolated to prevent drowning in water. And then just objects. Eggs can stay longer on objects until they are touched by hosts. Land transmission and mutation is increased. So what I want is water 1 and probably water 2 to begin with. Then we need to work on getting cold resistance. Essentially, I'm rushing to Russia, and then I'm trying to spread via their port, trying to get into places like Greenland. So, water 1. Water 2, eggs can survive, more time in water, and this takes 17. There we are, lovely. So now we are incredibly infectious via boats. So next up then, shell level 1, which I assume will give us access to the cold resistance traits. Oh, headache got mutated for free, okay. Which leads to confusion, head bashing, and insomnia. Headache will keep the infected awake. They are less productive, as you can well imagine. Head bashing releases endorphins when pressure is applied to the region where the pain is, makes infected hit their heads with blunt force repeated times, and confusion. Pressure on the painful area makes the larvae release endorphins, which leads to confusion. So I'm assuming this will be the lethal route, this will be some anti-cure stuff, and then this might be a non-aggressive victory? Not quite sure. But either way, I think we're going to go with head bashing purely because we have Corpse Feeder 1 and Corpse Feeder 2 available, and well, we want some corpses then, don't we? But first, we still need shell level 1. Oh yeah, now we really do, we are already in Russia. Hibernation 1. Spiders that are immobilized by cold can regain their mobility when heat is near. Yep, perfect. We have avoidance. Mature spiders are harder to catch and analyze in labs. I assume a cure slowdown. Adapt 1. Each new generation becomes more and more resilient to toxins. More research is needed. Okay, so that's a reshuffle, simply removing a chunk of cure. And then shell 2. The shell is more resilient to pesticides, so I assume, once again, better in wealthy regions. Okay. I do want a little bit more severity just for a bit more DNA. Remember that the more severity you have, the faster you get found out and the faster people will try and cure you, but it also increases DNA via red bubbles, which is lovely. Bleeding. The infected hit their heads until they bleed, which can of course be very, very fatal. Okay, we are spreading everywhere though, which is great. I think I'm going to grab insect or animal. In fact, no, I want to grab objects. Let's increase our land transmission. Let's jump from place to place like that. There we are. So we should now jump all land borders quite easily. I do want to grab cold level 2 though. There we are. So we are now very good in cold regions. And we are very good on boats. Okay, we've been found out, so we may as well increase our lethality a little bit, and let's start with Corpse Feeder, which leads to Corpse Feeder 2. Spiders use corpses as a food source, and reproduce more rapidly around them. With symptoms, we have skull fracture. The infected hit their heads with enough force to cause a skull fracture. We have internal hemorrhaging. The head trauma can cause internal hemorrhaging. Blood loss is lethal, as you can well imagine. And fury. Victims enter a furious frenzy, hitting themselves and others alike. Ugh. I think we should stick on theme and go with skull fracture when we can. For now, though, we do really need to get into the islands. So I'm going to grab Air 1, Air 2, and I'm hoping there's going to be a bioaerosol equivalent, which is a water-air hybrid. Internal hemorrhaging has just been oh no, it's just been evolved by itself. Lovely bit of mutation there. In that case, let's grab Corpse Feed. Actually, no, let's just grab Air 2, then Vapor. Ooh, Vapor. Due to weightlessness, eggs can be carried around. Water vapors. Good, so it is essentially bioaerosol. Fantastic. More chance to get in boats, more chance to get into planes. If it is indeed mimicking that trait. Also, I just saw Russia send a boat into Greenland, which wasn't infected. Darn it. Let's slow down the cure. Yep, let's do it. Okay, first of all, Shell 2, then Euphoria 1, Euphoria 2. Harder to focus from increased amount of endorphins. And now everyone's also suffering from insomnia. Probably the least of their worries. Yes, we are in Greenland. Oh, wait. Are we in the Caribbean? No, we're not. Oh, I just saw one more uninfected boat hit the Caribbean. Darn it. Come on. Normally there is a delay. That's why I'm worried when I see that. Yes, okay, we are now in the Caribbean, which means every country is infected, so let's go a little bit mental. Skull fracture, which leads to wide open. Increased brute force applied to the head leaves large holes where lots of spiders can burst out. Increased corpse transmission. My dyslexia is not giving me a break today, apparently. Thank you! And so their skulls will simply break apart. And it even increases corpse transmissions, that's fantastic. Oh, we are being cured quite quickly, though. Let's save up for Adapt 1. Just get a chunk of that cure. Whoa, they are curing us fast, but we are killing them almost as fast. Adapting level 1. Lovely, there we are. Fellows are now anemic, which leads to brain eaters. Ooh. Larvae now feed with excessive amounts of brain tissue. Fatal. Lovely. And over here we have obsession. The numbing effects of endorphins makes infected develop OCD. They are obsessed with hitting their heads to dull the pain. My reading skills today are not really on par, are they? how I am actually a trained scientist. Sometimes I do get very confused about this. Adapt 3. Sure, why not? And let's let them eat the brain. May as well. It's not like the humans are using them anyway. Probably weren't really using them before either. Now does the slow march as everyone perishes. And let's grab Fury, which leads to coma. Okay, head trauma can sometimes induce coma. Well, that makes sense. If everyone's going around just punching each other's face in. Can't imagine too many people would stay awake for that. And by awake, I mean conscious. Let's grab Obsession, though. That leads to Mania. Severe psychological effects are triggered from Obsession to apply blunt force to the head. Oh my god, I can't read today. Go, just everyone die. Apparently I have spiders in my brain. The title of this video should just be, Lathrix can't read. Come on, hurry up. Yeah, I know it's going to destroy humanity. There's almost no one left. $10,000, 5,000, and we are done. Let's grab this first. There we are. The world has succumbed to tiny little spiders in their brains. So then, what did I think of the plague? Honestly, it was really fun. It was definitely on theme with the spiders. I think it could have done with being a little bit more difficult and certainly a few more branching paths. I love the idea of the multiple starts though, so we will have a look at those in a second. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. There was a few English errors here and there, but let's face it, I'm not exactly someone who can write properly or speak properly or read properly, so I don't think that really matters all that much, and I just really enjoyed it. So, let's retry, and let's see if a different event can start. Okay, we pick China, and yeah, it begins in China. No event. Okay. Maybe the problem was we didn't start off through this. Undiscovered intro. The Foundation haven't discovered SCP-632 yet, which means they have not yet gave it its designation. The Foundation knows less about you, and it will take longer before they can find a solution. Okay, so it's an anti-cure one. The one we had was bonus DNA. This one apparently just means we are going to be hidden for a little bit longer. Let's see if we can find the other two. Containment breach intro. SCP-632 escaped its containment, and the SCP Foundation knows about this. They are trying to recontain you as soon as possible. So there we are, a negative start. So then, only one more to find. So maybe this one is way rarer than the others, or maybe I'm just really unlucky, but there we go, the stealth intro. During an emergency event, the Foundation personnel were too preoccupied to notice a few instances of SCP-632 escaping containment. Freedom at last! And bonus DNA points! Lovely. Oh yeah, loads. So with this one, you just get an instant burst of DNA and no effect on the SCP Foundation. Okay. Well, I'm afraid with that, I'm all out of time for today's video. I really do hope you've enjoyed, even though apparently my lack of sleep is slowly destroying me. So with that, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Plague Inc. is a series you wish to see continued in the future. This is rapidly becoming my go-to game to just quickly play when I have maybe half an hour or an hour to spare after I've recorded something else, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Don't worry, it is not taking away time from any of the other major series. It's just a bit of destructive fun. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.